You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Mobsters. This was from Mark, who said following the show yesterday, guys, great conversation about the offensive line. Enjoyed it, but at the end, I was left thinking, that sounds like they're talking about a concern. Is that the way I should think about it? How could it get here when this is what started the portal party? We did begin with an I will about the offensive line, Chris. Are we just thinking I hope at this point in time, or would you call it a concerning category? Are we there yet?
No, I don't want to, and it's all about context. I mean, I think you are in a much better situation than you were. Okay. However,
I'm glad you started there, by the way. Concerning compared to what is the first thing that kind of came to my mind.
Yeah, that's right.
Recent seasons.
Yeah, because like left tackle alone, if you'd have just made that change alone to last year, there's no telling how much different it all is. But Howard Sampson just got here; he wasn't here last year. So yeah, I'm not like ringing the alarm bell. However, if you're coming up with concerns, or as August is played out, I think you'd be very naive to go, it's all on lockdown, man. We're good to go. That's not the case. It's just not. There's too many pieces that haven't practiced yet or are working their way back. And, you know, that's where my concern comes in. So this is you would love to have everything all nice and tidy and put a bow on it and be like, we're good. But that's not what you have here. And is that a major concern, a minor one? Is it number 7 on the list of concerns, or number 1? I don't really know. That's for I probably have it higher than number 7 if I was tossing stuff out there to you. But that's really the where I'm coming at it from. I'm not trying to like freak anybody out, but you've got a variety of people that just really haven't practice much, that you were kind of counting on to either start or depth or whatever. And
one, Chris, following a year-long absence, right? Is that
well, I mean, technically, Cowan, 2 of them. If you really want to get technical, I mean, Scurry played all of a game and a half last year.
Yeah.
And now Zambrano, and these are 2 guys that I would think would be in your top 6 or 7 if all were healthy and all things being equal.
Yep.
I think that the positives are Ponton, Daniel Sill. They've been regular. Holton Hendricks. So there's been some positives here, but I just because this group it's about chemistry and continuity as much as any position on the field. They've got to work in unison and do different things, and there's a lot of communication and chemistry, and you're passing off blocks, you're calling the front, and like when you don't have a lot of the same that's used to playing next to each other, it's a bit tricky when people start showing you different blitzes or different looks or running stunts on you, and you're like, well, I thought you had. Well, no, I thought that's what. So that's why I'm coming at it from, but not having all your guys, and then not having the ability to have all your guys practicing and kind of knocking some of that stuff out, it's a concern for me. I don't mind saying that. I don't think that anybody should be freaking out or anything like that. I think you're going to put a very quality offensive line out there, but I don't know what your ultimate goal here is, in that I don't know if they could tell you, ideally, if all were healthy, this is our best 5. I don't know if they have had the ability to really see that yet. That also is, I guess, frustrating to me, and maybe frustrating but man, poor Clay McGuire. I mean, it's just kind of what the position's been for the last decade, I feel like. But you're in a much better spot now. Howard Sampson alone. Sheridan Wilson's been on lockdown. I think Will Jados has been a very positive addition on at left guard, and so it's just some depth. It's right tackle. It's just some of these other things here that I think you're still trying to sort through.
First, today's episode brought to you by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Preseason is already heating up, and college football isn't far behind. And whether you got your eyes on big-name quarterbacks or breakout running backs, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in the game. It's simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. And if you get your picks right, you could cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. You'll love how easy and simple it is to use. And of course, Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure every time. Download the Prize Picks app today and use our code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's the code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. With Prize Picks, run your game. Yeah, first concerning compared to what? Because we have come from the dark ages as far as the last decade plus of offensive line play. I've said it many times. You've had some really nice pieces, and a lot of those guys have collected NFL checks for periods of time. But just putting those groups together to be really special, like you saw, say going back to the Leach era, it's been few and far between, or just hadn't been there at all. So number one, compared to what, as far as my panic meter, so that's going to keep it fairly low because of one of these singular best additions you made to your roster being at the left tackle spot, like you talked about, Chris. Just because of that, I feel like you're already living a different life than you were previously. But I do get some of the, I guess, anxiousness when it comes to the other side of that offensive line. And that's no disrespect to Ponton, but obviously being a young guy and also being there with a guy that you brought in to man a spot, that position or otherwise, who hadn't been on the field until, I guess, last week. Coach McGuire talking about his participation last week and into a scrimmage. So we've got time still ahead of the regular season. So even if it is Zambrano based or whatever it might be, my concern meter is still very low. But the thing that you really touched on, we can't get around, Chris, is that all the stuff you're talking about building, which is chemistry and synergy and all that, really only happens with time together, and time's a waste. And so you can't really replace that just in a film room or something like that. You got to be out there doing it. And we're just now kind of getting to that point. But I guess prior to, say, at least Arkansas Pine Bluff, maybe you've had 2 weeks or 3 weeks of something sort of consistent. I don't know. We'll have to check back in, I guess, with Coach McGuire when we have the opportunity and see what it's been looking like. But I get the reason for the question, and it is kind of a strange experience because it is where the party kicked off.
Yep.
We're going to buy an offensive line, and you had a huge splash with Howard Sampson. But I don't know. Here we go. Before we get out of here, can I kind of swing it back to Ponton and some other guys? Because I want to talk about some of these young guy opportunities. He may be the lead dog on that list. I don't know, but offensive line might be a good choice for one of the spots where some young guys could break through. But I'm curious about a position group, Chris, that comes to mind when you think about maybe being prone to see some young guys make an impact.